In this video, we'll take a look at the technique of creating hierarchies and their role in data visualization and exploration. And so let's learn some Tableau. I've connected to a data set which we used for a previous exercise, the Major League Baseball players' batter statistics from 2019. And if I go to Sheet 1 in Tableau, created too many sheets. So I go to my sheet. In this case, let's say we're doing an analysis and a visualization of player and performance, but first we wanted to nest some of these categories in each other. So for example, I wanted to start with examining teams. And so I take that dimension of teams, put it into rows, and I wanted to say measure stolen bases per team. Okay, so now I get each team in the major leagues, and now I can do a sort in descending to see who stole the most bases. And maybe I'm doing a quick analysis because my team is going to be playing the Boston Red Sox, and based on previous performance, we see that they may be not the most aggressive on the base paths, but I would really have to watch out if I was playing the Texas Rangers. But does that tell me the whole story? So for example, if I'm preparing to say play the Boston Red Sox, I want to see which players on the Boston Red Sox would be more likely to swipe bases on me. So I could say, okay, so I'm looking specifically at the Boston Red Sox. And so now I choose players, and I can sort the players, and then I can try to filter by team, and that's one way of visualizing it. So I can only pick the Boston Red Sox. And that's certainly one way of doing it. Mookie Betts, he's the person I have to be most careful of because he steals the most bases on the team. Okay, that's one way of doing it. However, let's say I wanted to build a master list showing team by team by team so I could have them easily available in one visualization. We can do this using dimensions and creating hierarchies in dimensions. And so I would still leave the sum of the stolen bases in my columns, and I would create a hierarchy. In this case, you'll see a special icon, and there's a few ways to create hierarchies. The first is to click on each dimension you want to be part of the hierarchy. So I want player and team. And then I right-click or control-click on them. And I see hierarchy, create hierarchy. And I want to have the top level be the team, and the second layer be the player. So you'll see this new icon, which is a hierarchy, and that player is first and team is listed second. Well, that doesn't quite answer what I want. I would drag it over the same way I would drag over any other dimension. And you'll see here it's listed players. And if I click the plus button, it will drill down even further and show the teams. Now, this is great if, for example, what I was looking for are the splits players had if they played for multiple teams. So you'll see here, Aaron Alther played for 3 teams that season. And so you can see that split. So if the goal was to have a visualization that showed the stolen bases that every player had split by the stolen bases they got for each team they played. So if you had a player who played for multiple teams, so here Billy Hamilton, right, swiped 18 bases while playing for Kansas City and 4 while playing for Atlanta. So that can be a helpful visualization, but that's not the one we asked for. So what we wanted was actually something that looked different. So if we go back and I look at that hierarchy, if I want team listed first, I can just grab team and move it above player. Now I drag it to rows, and now I see the teams, and I can do my sort in descending order. Now I can see the teams listed, right, by the stolen bases. And now if I click that plus button, it will drill down to players. And so now I've done it twice. If I click by team, right, so here I have the team level in descending order, and I have the player level in descending order. Now, if I wanted to change the player level here, see the teams are still sorted. So these teams are still sorted from the most to the fewest stolen bases. The players, however, I changed that visualization from lowest to the highest. So the other advantage is you can drill down and customize your sorts. So Minnesota had the worst time on the base paths in terms of stealing bases. You would see that the player who stole the most bases for them that past season was Byron Buxton. So if we click back, that's alphabetical. And I want to display them in descending order. I drill back down, and the players I want in descending order. Now, if I wanted to apply more filters, so for example, just like in my previous examples, I wanted to sort out and say, you know what, I only want people who've had a certain number of at-bats. And I only want people who, say in this case, have had 100 at-bats. And that tightens it up a little bit. So in this quick visualization, you can see what I've been able to do. Now let's say I wanted to have different colors for each team. Once again, I would just drag team to color. So let's say I wanted to end the hierarchy and disestablish it. I could just go here and remove hierarchy. And it doesn't delete, it just moves everything back to that dimension. So hierarchies can be a pretty helpful tool as you create your visualizations. And we can even apply the box and whisker plots. There we go. So we have the box and whisker plots. And we can drill down even further by player. So you can use it in a variety of visualizations as well. Oh, and once again, I want team there. So very quickly, we're able to make a very simple visualization, a series of visualizations using the creation of hierarchies. We know how to disassemble hierarchies now, so you can right-click and you can remove hierarchy. Now, let's say, for example, we wanted to create hierarchies in a different way. We wanted something even faster than right-clicking and hitting hierarchy. No problem. We can take team or player. We can drag player and drag it to team. Team and player is the name. And that creates a hierarchy. The advantage of the drag is that it helps to initially create the order in which you want it. So team and player. And now I can drill down, just as we did before. So, pretty powerful tool, a helpful technique, and certainly one that you will make great use of as we move forward and continue on our Tableau adventure.